Hello guys and welcome back. Pardon me. This is the Over the Wire series and we are on Bandit level 5. Um, okay, so let's connect as Bandit 5. Hopefully you've still got the password copied. I think I do. Amazing. Clear the welcome message, print the working directory. You know how it goes. There we go. We can do it. Okay, so we are logged in as user 5 on Bandit 5's directory. Perfect. So we are in the right place. Let's read our brief. So the password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in here directory and has all of the following properties. It is human readable, 133 bytes in size, and not executable. So these are some of the commands we might need. Again, I always suggest read those. I assume you already have, that's why you're here. So what do we have here? We have the in here directory. Just feels like a tradition at this point that we just always check it with the file just to make sure that we're not stepping on a landmine or something. Right, let's go in here. And what do we have? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. They look like a lot of directories. Are they all directories? We can use our file and then our special character asterisk to repeat the operation on all things in our current directory. Yes, they are all directories. If you've just completed the last Bandit 4 tutorial, you know about the special character asterisks, so I don't need to explain that to you. Cool, so we've got a bunch of directories. Let's go and take a look in one of them. CD maybe here, 00. What have we got in here? Bunch of stuff. Bunch of gross stuff. And I mean, let's run a file on everything in here. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. Okay, too much stuff to go through one by one. We know we need to find a little clue, something specific. Okay, so cd double dot for the parent directory. We're back to in here. Just checking. Yep, cool. All right. So let's take a look at the manual for find because that is what we're going to be using today. So find allows us to sit in a working directory. So for example, we'll sit in the in here directory and we've got access to a load of directories. And what it will do is we give it parameters and it will worm its way through all of the directories. I think by default it will go through all of the directories available to it, like at a maximum depth. But I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But what it will do is it will take your parameters that you've given it. It will run through all of the directories available to it. Imagine like a spanning tree going downwards from your original directory, so your working directory, downwards and outwards, checking all of the files and all of the directories against the parameters that it has until either it finds what it's looking for or it returns a false and it'll say, no, there's nothing in here that matches that description, and that's that. So really, the find operation or the find command is about setting your parameters in the correct way so that it will return what you want. So we know we have one parameter that's about the type of file. So that's human readable. We're looking for just regular files, regular human readable files. We know we've got one about the size, and we know we've got one about it not being an executable. So in logical terms, if this was a positive, we're looking for a human readable. That's a positive. This would be a negative. We're not looking for executable files. And there's a way that we can represent that, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going to assume that you've read through this and you're like, I'm still absolutely lost. That's fine. So I can tell you that the flags or the options that we're going to be using are size, type, and executable. I believe there is just one for executable. Yeah. Okay. So file, uh, type, type, size, and executable. Cool. So for type, we're looking for regular files. We're not looking for directories. We're not looking for any of the other special kinds. There are a lot, aren't they? Anyway, so we know we're using the find command. Now our flags always start with a hyphen, so our first flag, let's make it the type flag. And we are looking for regular files, so type F. Find type F. Now one thing I should mention is that you can, if you want to, put a dot to represent this working directory as our starting point. We could do double dots to specify that the working directory above ours is the starting point, or we could do an asterisk to represent that we want this applied to all of the files available to us. But find is smarter than that, and if you leave it without a parameter, it will do it by itself. So I'm going to leave it without a parameter. So we're saying find files of the type regular file, files of type F, and then we do a space for our next argument. So just as before, in the opposite case where we wanted the command to ignore the space, we did the / escape. In this case, we want the shell to interpret the space as the beginning of a new argument. So for our second argument, we are going to use size 133 bytes. Now, we've given it 133, and if you've read the manual, you'll know that C denotes bytes, because 133 could be 133 anything. It could be 133 gigabytes, but we are looking specifically for a file of the size 1033 bytes, so we use the C. Okay, and next we are looking for not executable. So, if anyone's done any coding at all, they'll know that, equals equals means exactly, but this means the opposite of, or does not equal. So exclamation point is usually our our symbol that denotes the negative logical expression. So it's not executable. So we want not hyphen to denote the flag. So as the shell reads this, it'll say, okay, I'm meant to be finding something. You haven't given me a parameter for which directory I'll start in, so I'll start in this one, and then I've got a hyphen that denotes the next flag, and that's of a type, and the type should be a regular file, and then there's a space, so there's another argument coming, another hyphen, so there's another option, flag size, how big, 1033, 1033 what, 1033 bytes, and then there's this exclamation point, and that tells the shell whatever comes next, I must do the opposite of, or I must do, I must ignore, not ignore, yeah, I'm looking for the negative logical expression of whatever comes next. There we go. And we are looking for the opposite of the executable flag. Now, how the hell do we spell executable? There we go. There we go. It returns the path to maybe here, file number 2. Now, let's read the contents of this. Maybe here 07, file 2. And there is our path. There is our password. Remember Control-Shift-C to copy, exit to sever our connection, and thank you for watching.